Namaste. Welcome to this channel Chemistry Made Easy by Dr. A.R. Mulik, Ashok Mulik. Now we will see the previous topic, that is genesis of elements, and that remaining part of the Big Bang theory in this lecture 5. So in the previous lecture we have seen that the representation of any element or a nucleus. So nucleus is represented in this way, that is 7 and 13. So in the previous lecture we have seen that this 7 indicates atomic number of this element, that is nitrogen. So Z represents number of protons present in the nucleus. This 13 represents atomic mass number. So that atomic mass number means 13 is the sum of number of protons and number of neutrons. So this atomic mass is the sum of number of protons and number of neutrons present in this nucleus of a particular element. So we can consider here how many protons are there in this nucleus. 7 protons, and neutrons are 13 minus 7. Protons are 7, so 13 minus 7 is 6 neutrons. So in previous lecture it was mistakenly shown that 7 protons and 7 neutrons, but this is correct for nitrogen isotope with mass 14. Then we consider nitrogen with mass 14, then it contains 7 protons and 7 neutrons. But in this isotope of nitrogen, where mass is 13, it contains 7 protons and 6 neutrons. Similarly, we can consider another example like this. We can show here, when there is 92 uranium 238, if we consider this element or nucleus, it has 92 means number of protons, that is this Z value, and 238 is A, that is mass number. So this contains, the 238 includes this 92 protons in the nucleus. 232 includes the number of protons, that is 92, and remaining are the number of neutrons. So we can get this number of neutrons by subtracting 92 from 238. So in this way we can find any element represented in this way. So with this we will this counting of number of neutrons and protons in the nucleus is necessary in some nuclear calculations, such as calculation of mass defect, which are not going to discuss here. But in this such type of calculations, we may require this splitting of the number of neutrons and number of protons present in the nucleus. So for calculating such mass of that particular isotope, we can calculate the mass by multiplying the number of protons into 1.009 and number of protons into 1.007. So this will give us the mass of that particular nucleus, which may be required for calculation of mass defect. So that is not calculation, or this is not problem of this topic. So we go to this next point of this genesis theory, where, so after previous reactions we have seen the synthesis of, or the formation of some lighter nuclei. Now in this continuation of this topic, the reactions are further taking place which are called carbon-nitrogen cycle. So the reactions are called carbon-nitrogen cycle. So such reactions are taking place when the temperature is very high, that is greater than, when the temperature is greater than 6 into 10 raised to 8 Kelvin. When the temperature is greater than 6 into 10 raised to 8 Kelvin, then we can have such type of reactions. So such reactions are called the reactions which are taking place on hot stars. So these are called carbon-nitrogen cycle processes. These are called carbon-nitrogen cycles. Why it is called carbon-nitrogen cycle? Because carbon is acting here as a catalyst for the formation of helium nuclei from burning of or combustion or fusion of the protons. So when 4 protons are burned or undergoing fusion with the carbon isotope with mass 12 and succeeding nuclei, then ultimately it gives the helium nucleus with the release of carbon 12. So during this there is intermittent element, that is nitrogen, and therefore it is called carbon-nitrogen cycle. So we will see this cycle by one reaction. So the first step in this carbon-nitrogen cycle is the carbon, that is a catalyst, of mass 12 combines or fuses with the proton and gives 7 and 13, that is nitrogen of this mass 13, and it shows the release of or emission of gamma photon. Next reaction takes place. This nitrogen 13 undergoes decay, so it breaks down into again carbon 13 isotope with emission of a positron and with emission of a neutrino. This carbon 13 again combines with another proton, that is second proton. First proton in this reaction, second proton in this reaction. So this proton combination with carbon 13 gives 7 nitrogen of mass 14 and gamma photon. Again this 7 nitrogen 14 isotope or nucleus fuses with proton and gives us oxygen with mass 15 and release of 1 proton. Again this oxygen with mass 15 breaks down or undergoes decay, that is called the beta decay. So it produces the nitrogen with 15 mass, 1 positron and 1 neutrino. Again this nitrogen with 15 mass undergoes fusion with 4 proton and gives us carbon isotope of mass 12, and ultimately there is formation of the helium nucleus, that is 2He4. So in this way the cycle is repeated number of times and there is formation of helium from protons. So after this there are another types of reactions taking place in this hot star. So in addition to this, heavier elements are also formed. So we will see some reactions like this. Carbon 12 nuclei undergoes fusion to produce neon with mass 20 and helium particle is generated. Then when 2 oxygen nuclei undergoes fusion produces silicon with mass 28 and helium isotope of mass 4. Again in some other reactions the oxygen nuclei, 2 oxygen nuclei undergoes fusion to produce sulfur with mass 31 and with emission of 1 neutron. So these type of reactions are taking place in addition to carbon-nitrogen cycle. So when the stars have still higher temperature, these reactions are also taking place to produce elements with heavier mass. So these are called heavier elements. So we are given here the formation of these heavier elements. The example here is silicon, 28 mass. There is silicon with mass 28 and produces. We have seen here formation of a silicon. So this silicon also undergoes interaction with gamma photon and produces magnesium with mass 12 and helium with mass 4. So another silicon may react with or fuses with helium and produces sulfur with mass 32 with release of 1 photon. Again, there is also formation of another nucleus, heavier particle, from fusion of this sulfur with mass 32 and helium with mass 4. It gives argon with mass 36 and release of 1 photon. Even more heavier elements are also formed depending upon inherent stability, means how much it is stable. So depending upon its stability, the type of element will be formed. Temperature of that star and lifetime of the star. So these are the 3 factors responsible for the formation of heavier elements, and depending upon the available conditions of these, the heavier elements are of varying types. The inherent stability also shows maximum for Fe56. When we observe on certain star the formation of inherent stability of the elements existing on that star, the Fe has maximum inherent stability, and elements near to this Fe, that is cobalt, nickel, copper, etc., chromium. So these are also showing more abundance, but maximum abundance on inherent stability is found with Fe. But other elements near to this Fe in periodic table are also showing relatively more abundance in the universe. So elements near Fe are also more abundant. Then with cooling of the universe, means we have seen that the expansion of the universe goes on and still it is going on. So during this process, the cooling goes on and temperature goes down. So with this cooling effect, either reactions are slowed down or stopped. The reactions which were initially at high temperature were very fast, but because of the cooling effect, the reactions are either slowed down or stopped. Lighter and heavier elements are commonly observed on these stars and in the universe. Heavier elements are formed by interaction of lighter elements. How are the heavier elements are formed? Heavier elements are formed by the interaction between lighter elements. What are lighter elements? Generally, the lighter elements are considered up to the atomic number 30 or the transition elements, range of transition elements of the 3D series, that is atomic number 30. So afterwards, or the heavier elements are formed by interaction of that lighter elements with neutrons followed by beta decay. So this will produce the heavier and heavier elements successively, and such heavier elements are then deposited in the Earth's crust or in the formation of various stars and planets in the universe. So next part of this Big Bang theory and formation of the universe will be discussed in the next lecture. So keep watching this channel, and you can subscribe to this channel, and you can press the bell icon button. Again, you can put your comments in the comment box, and you can ask any question related to this topic. So thank you very much for watching this video. Okay.